and welcome back to yet an amazing episode of Minority Reports podcast and digital series. It is always great to have a guest in studio because, A, I don't get to wear the headphones so it doesn't ruin my hair, and B, it's just so much more personal to just have him here. Today I have this incredible guest that I've been following for a while. He's hilarious. You've seen him on Bring the Funny. You've seen him on HBO Latino. Very, very funny guy, Orlando Leyba. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Mona. I like it.
Dude,
thank you for everybody watching. Whoever's watching. Are there people watching? Are you watching?
They're going to be watching.
You're watching.
It's you, Orlando. They're going to be watching, man. It's you. It's all you.
Yeah. This is fantastic, first of all. Fantastic studio.
Thank you.
Very clean, very hygiene. I peeped game. We even hugged.
Yes, we did.
Because it's legit
We didn't do the
clean.
elbow coronavirus thing, nothing.
No. We
were
hugged,
like, we're going in.
We embraced because it's clean.
Yes.
We have our engineer here, Travis. I don't know his last name. He seems like he's a clean human being.
He is.
He didn't want me to talk over the theme song, but I get it. They're all engineered. They have all their quirks and their way of running stuff.
By the way, I have nothing to do with the cleanliness, so it's all Travis and the folks here at Show Creator Studios. You guys are awesome. Man, I was...
what type of place is this? Like, if you want to book this place and do your own podcast, you can come to Show Creator Studios.
Yeah, you come to Show Creator
in Las
Studios.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, Nevada. You could come to Show Creator Studios and book your own studio time and start your own podcast.
You guys...
Let's say you're obsessed with armadillos. You can come here and book time. Travis will sit behind, push the buttons, and you could just chat about armadillos.
That's right. That's right. And today, are we talking about armadillos today?
No, I'm not into armadillos at all.
Well, I have something better to talk about. I want to talk about you because I was watching your set on Bring the Funny with Ali Siddiq.
Yes.
And that was just you guys both just brought it. You guys were both so hilarious, and you guys are awesome. And I always love watching comics when one comic is cheering the other one on, even if it's a competition.
Yeah.
Because we are in this together. We are a comedy family, whether people want to believe it or not. This is stand-up comedy is its own animal and what we do. So what was that experience like for you being, competing? And first of all, how did you even get the gig? And second, what was that like for you?
Okay, so let's start just getting the gig. Great producer that was on the show. His name is Josh Sandoval. I
love Josh Sandoval. Know him very
he's
well.
A friend.
Yeah.
I actually ordained his wedding.
Oh, wow.
So I ordained his wedding. But prior to that, he has seen me just coming up the ranks. And I had the wonderful blessing of doing the Tonight Show. That led to Josh seeing me and being like, hey, I think you might be good for this. So he brought me in. He pitched me to the executive producers. They brought me on. And then I ended up competing with Ali. So Ali's an OG. I consider myself I'm not at his level yet because he's been doing it longer than me. So just year-wise, different styles of comedy, but we also get along. It's one of those dudes that I don't hang out with him every day, but I naturally get along with him.
Yeah.
And I remember just telling him, man, I'm glad they put us against each other because I'd rather lose to you than a puppet. And he just started laughing. Mind you, the puppet is actually really good. I told the guy behind the puppet, like, my dude, you could do stand-up without the puppet. The material is strong without the puppet and whatnot. And it was just a wonderful experience, top to bottom, man.
I love it. I love. So what does the winner win, by the way? What do you get?
I don't remember. I think you might have gotten like $250,000.
Oh.
But the way I look at these shows, and if you're a comic or if you're thinking about these shows like America's Got Talent, American Idol, what's the other one? The Voice. All these shows, to me, Last Comic Standing, the way I looked at it, being an older man, and I just looked at it like these are moments where you get to showcase your talent to everybody that's watching, meaning that this is your commercial. So instead of paying God knows how much money, I was able to land on this show, and they gave me, I believe it was 2 minutes to show America my talent. And that translates, I didn't win the competition, but I won a free commercial
Yeah.
that runs on national television, also runs and lives on forever on social media. So now that booker in at Zany's
Yeah.
in Chicago sees that and reaches out to my people and says, "Hey, I want to bring Orlando in and try him out for a weekend."
Sure.
So that was my commercial, and that got me work in Chicago.
Amazing.
That's the way I've always looked at it.
Right.
Late night sets with the Tonight Show, the same thing. It's like that's just the way I feel of it. This is what it was always about. I'm
Yeah.
basically I'm very basic thinking about my strategizing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I do the Tonight Show. That's a commercial. Now I grab that, I add that to my reel, and then we could submit that to so and so blase club,
Yeah.
and now they bring me in for a weekend, and I get a great weekend. I work, I get to do stand up
Yeah.
and share, I
Yeah.
guess, the talent that was bestowed upon me.
I mean, I was your story is pretty fascinating to me. It's unlike many comics, mainly because you were married, you
Yeah.
had a whole like adjusted, normal, healthy life,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you got into stand up. And
Yeah.
for a lot of stand ups, I'm single. I was married and got divorced many years ago. But for us, it's like it's not like that. Like you're usually single. You come from some kind of traumatic fucked up childhood and
Yeah.
then you kind of get into stand up. But for you, it was a very different journey. You talked about, I was watching one of your interviews, you were talking about how your wife encouraged you
Yes.
because you went to a show
Yes.
and you watched, I forget, which comic did you watch that
I
inspired you?
watch Kyle Grooms. Yeah, he
Oh,
was
wow.
on. Yeah, he was on the Chappelle Show.
Oh, wow.
And Kyle also used to work. So, okay, so let's do a little bit of backtracking. Before stand up, I was a satellite engineer at CBS News.
Okay.
So I'm driving the truck, I'm setting up live shots for South Florida. I'm doing that. I go to a comedy club and my wife says, "You can do this." But I also want to add some of the, in interviews, they cut out certain things. I'm also lucky because my wife is not just the normal uh woman that just works on 9 to 5. My wife was also, she did beauty pageants. She was a singer. She was
Got
a
it.
background singer, a lead vocalist, works in a recording studio. So she
She's an artist.
understands the life. And our communication game is like we operate at a high level of communication, constantly communicating.
Yeah.
What's going on? Where we at? We're always checking in. Where? Not checking in of, I'm back in my hotel room. How are you feeling today? Are you doing all right? How did your day go? Hey, I have this thing. Do you have room, emotional room for me to talk to you about this thing that's bugging me? Not with us, but this thing that's going on with like a booker.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "Not right now.
Yeah.
Give me a couple. Let me deal with a couple of things." And then, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like right now, we've been having discussion because of this coronavirus.
Yeah.
Shows have been getting canceled. I was part of a major tour that the tour didn't cancel it. Basically, the insurance canceled it. They were like, "Hey, we got to pull
Wow.
the insurance. We can't
Wow.
insure your guys on the road." So by that, the tour said, "Okay, let's pause and pick it up in late summer." And they're already giving me more dates
Yeah.
that weren't even in the calendar for late summers, rescheduling that we've done.
Yeah.
But it's like, but then I lost these dates. This is part of my income. What's
Yeah.
going to happen? Let's strategize. I talked to my wife, and she's also, because she works in a recording studio,
Yeah.
she's going through it where it's talent that doesn't even want to come into the studio. They're
That's
like, no,
right.
I rather postpone
Yeah.
when I come to record.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now she has to deal with that and whatnot. So I can't just go and dump all my emotional,
What a thoughtful man you are.
it's 17 years,
What a
man.
what wow,
17,
that's
yeah, 12 years married, 17 years
wow.
altogether.
That's incredible. Do you feel like being married kind of grounds you and makes you a better comic? I mean, because you've been doing comedy for how long now?
10 years.
For 10 years you've been
Yeah.
doing comedy. Do you feel like being married has, almost like helped you become a better artist at all? Obviously, it feels like to me it has definitely helped you become a better person. But do you feel that feeds into your craft as a stand-up?
Of course, yeah. 100%. I feel that I'll say it, man, it's made me a better human being.
Wow.
22-year-old me was not this guy.
Yeah.
22-year-old me was just living, eating out of the trash, whatever it was, dude. I was just like,
You were not eating out of the trash,
not
Orlando.
eating out of the trash, but it's like I just say, I was just a wild stallion that wasn't tamed.
Yeah.
And yeah, marriage life is like it is marriage life. Everything is funny that goes on,
Yeah. Yeah.
with us. So I just bring it to the table, and she accepts that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it's more grown, but you don't need to be married, man. It's like I just, I'm in this
You don't need to be
headspace
married for what?
to be to be just grown. You just
Mm-hmm.
need to do
Yes.
grown up stuff.
That's
Like
right.
what's that saying? They use it in religion, and I'm not that religious like that. I'm not. I'm a spiritual person, but it said when I was a child, I thought as a child, and
Mm-hmm.
when I was a man, I thought as a grown man.
Man. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are still thinking as children, and
Yes.
it's like, nah, just pause, just like, all right, let that go.
That's right. That's
Let the
right.
pain go. Let the I'm not gonna sit here, and I could easily tell you, oh, I'm Dominican and I grew up showering out of buckets and no running electricity and my childhood. But that made me who I am now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for it. And the
Yeah.
painful parts, I let them go. I just
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know.
think I think that's the part. I think a lot of comics. I mean, me included. I think I think there's like different spectrum of trauma that people kind of go through and they kind of deal with. Um, do you think like do you? I mean, we just touched upon like you were talking about like growing up with that pain and letting go of that pain. Do you feel like that pain and trauma also contributes to a certain level of your drive?
Uh, it yes, more. Yeah, there's a drive. The I don't know how to explain this because I just love what I do.
Yeah,
So that's my natural drive. My
yeah,
natural drive to get on stage is that I love it,
yeah.
and I'm approaching it from a place of service. I want to be of service. You're having a
Mm-hmm.
bad day. Let me tell you a joke. You
Mm-hmm.
want to having a bad day? Let me tell you this story. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're a married couple. You're arguing. Let me tell you about this time that we argued over this silly stuff.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
be of service for this moment that I'm on stage.
Yeah.
So that's my drive. I really love what I do. It's like that. The other stuff is just like appreciation.
Yeah.
So my background, my backstory
Yeah.
gives me appreciation. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that moment on stage. I appreciate the audience. I appreciate
Mm.
having running water and electricity at my house.
Listen, amen.
I
I'm with you.
truly
Yeah.
appreciate it, and
Yes.
I'm happy
I'm
for it.
with you. I mean, I grew up in Pakistan, and my hair is super curly,
Hmm.
and now this is LA has done this to my hair.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Fantastic, though.
thank
It's
you very much. I
fantastic.
appreciate that.
Fantastic.
I grew up going to the Dominican salons in New York.
Yeah, there you go. Because
Yes.
those blowouts are serious.
Salons are like mad
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Nobody's doing
Yeah.
what the Dominican
Yeah,
salons
yeah.
are doing.
But
This is
they do that jam where they put the rollers on you, then they put
put
you
the on the heater.
on the heater,
That's
then they
everything.
take the rollers out, and then they
Then they blow
blow
it out.
dry.
Oh, Orlando, you know what's up, man. You know what's up. I'm like, is your wife Dominican?
Nah, she's Colombian. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But that's like one other than merengue and the men being womanizers. Dominicans are known for doing hair, man. They're fantastic, man.
And
And baseball playing, baseball playing.
that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Is Alex Rodriguez Dominican?
Alex Rodriguez is
He's
Dominican.
Dominican, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's something else. I'm a big
yeah,
fan. Yeah, he's
yeah.
he's pretty great. I mean, but you're born and raised in where? In New York, or where are you from?
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my mom went to Puerto Rico with fake papers. Then we got deported.
In San Juan or where?
San Juan de
Yeah,
Piedra.
yeah.
So my mom got deported. Someone ratted her out. She got deported, and they didn't separate us. They sent me along with her. So I grew up like,
Thank God for that.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Not for the deportation, but thank God for staying
Yeah,
together.
they kept us together. So I grew up. So I did the whole thing. Like I say again, no running water, no electricity, but there was a lot of love. There was always food on the table.
Hmm.
Um, but every once in a while, they would have to fly me out because I was technically a citizen. So they would have to fly me out so they wouldn't have to pay the taxes that the country would put upon me for being a citizen
Mm-hmm.
and overstaying my stay. So you can only be in Dominican Republic at the time for a certain amount of time, then you have to pay taxes.
Okay.
So right before having to pay those taxes, those penalties, they would just buy me a plane ticket.
Yeah.
The family would take a collection, they would fly me out, and then I would stay with an aunt for like a month in New York.
Got it.
And then after that month, they would fly me back to DR, which was horrific for my education because
Mm,
I never respected uh,
yeah.
education and teachers and whatnot. That didn't happen until I became an adult. Then I was just like, oh, okay, I need to leave childish things
Yeah.
and educate myself as much
Sure.
as possible.
And you became an engineer.
Yeah, satellite engineer. But on the
Satellite.
job, I just started driving regular microwave antenna trucks
Huh.
for CBS.
Yeah.
And as the years progressed, I just learned on the job, so I didn't end up with college debt. I just,
Got it.
old school way of doing it on
Got
the
it.
job
You're like
learning.
me, yeah. Because
Yeah, yeah,
I'm a college dropout. I moved from Pakistan when I was 15.
yeah,
And we were poor, man. Like we lived in a 1-bedroom basement apartment in
yeah,
Jersey City.
yeah.
My 4 brothers slept in the room, and I slept in the
Yeah,
living
my
room.
wife
Like,
is from Jersey. She's from Passaic.
oh, she's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
nice, very nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know about that whole immigrant life and that immigrant struggle, and
Hmm.
just trying to survive and just trying to make stuff happen. I feel like what is your mom? Where is she here? Where is she?
She's retired. She's in Florida now.
Yeah.
And that's where that just the appreciation comes from her.
Yeah.
I never saw her like I never saw her complain. She was just like, I just work, I work, I work. I remember I was a kid and she used to bring work from her job back to the house
Yeah.
because they were going to give her an extra $100 in her paycheck. And there was these buttons it was like two buttons that would snap together,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have a machine to do it, so she would snap them together herself, and there was 10,000 of them.
Jeez.
So I would sit there and I would try to do my homework. I would be at the table and helping her. Later on in life, she feels so sad. She was like, I'm sad that I made you do that as a little kid
Oh,
because you would fall asleep on the table. I was like, Ma, I'm good, man.
that's so
I'm not a
sweet.
prisoner of
Yeah.
any of those things.
Yeah.
I opened up those gates a long time ago and walked out of those
Yeah.
thoughts and
Yeah.
left them behind.
Yeah.
I don't forget them,
Yes.
but I let it go.
You don't let it like weigh you down. You just let it.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I were talking right before we started about being in the moment, right?
Hmm.
Being in the moment, like and your wife calling you out on it. Can
Yeah.
can we talk about a little bit of that?
Yes, like for example, like a lot of people 3 years ago was when people saw the shift. One is because uh, my wife moved full time to Los Angeles with me. Before that, we did 2.5 years long distance.
Wow.
She stayed in Florida. I came to LA. I cashed in my 401k, so her lifestyle wouldn't have to change back in Florida. And I just lived off of my 401k. I did Uber. I did everything I had to do. I threw bags for Delta part time late night.
Just to pursue stand up in
Yeah,
LA.
just to pursue stand up. And a lot of people, these are stuff that people that know me don't even know. They didn't know that when, like, sometimes I wasn't around because I had a shift at LAX and I was throwing bags. But throwing bags,
Yeah.
when I asked the universe or my creator,
Mm,
like, what's a way that my wife can come and see me often other than using our miles
mhm.
because our miles are running out? And then another comic that does it, I'm not going to say his name because people don't know that he does that. We were just talking and like I asked the question and then this comic appeared out of nowhere and he was just conversating and he wasn't just dropping knowledge on me, he was just sharing this moment that he was at. And then next thing I know, the next day I was applying online for Delta because that gives my wife, even
Yeah.
though I was part-time working 4 hours a night,
Yeah.
throwing bags, loading the planes at the bottom,
Yeah.
that gave my wife a free flight. So my
Amazing.
wife could just fly for free on standby. and then you calculate at what time and what flights there's going to be available seats.
Yeah.
So then now my wife is traveling
I love that.
back and forth.
I mean, Orlando, to me, like everything you're saying, it's so rare in the stand-up comedy world. To hear somebody like as grounded as you, who's like who was married and then started stand-up, and then now you're talking about how you guys had this long, even though you were married, this long distance relationship, and how you're able to maintain it. I mean, you know, so she moves out here, and then she's seeing you doing your hustle, like the hustle, like the kind of hustle that we do as stand-up comics. And what you're at, what, at some comedy club, and you're talking to a comic, and then you're what?
So I was doing this typical LA thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That wasn't my character. It's not how I'm built.
Yeah.
But this thing was rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
This LA thing where I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Let's say at the Improv, at the Hollywood Improv on Melrose, and then I'm looking over your shoulder to see who else is coming into the through the door that possibly that person can do something for me. A person that isn't even there.
That's right.
But I'm just looking
Yeah.
to see if Judd Apatow is going to walk in and maybe he puts me in the movie. This extra thought process going on in my brain instead of me being present with you. Here's the thing, Mona, you're also from LA, so you understand that I'm doing that to you and you're okay with it. But are you really okay with it? Subconsciously, it's messing with you.
Yes.
Saying Orlando's not really connecting with me.
Yeah.
But up front, you're like, oh, it's okay. It's the LA thing. It's the LA vibe.
You accept it.
Yeah. And my wife came to the Improv with me, saw me doing that, and she said, hey, man, you're not really connecting with no one. Everybody that you talk to, you're talking to them and you're looking right past them.
Wow.
And then she called me out, and me and her have this thing because obviously she's an artist and I'm an artist. And she goes, you're on some artist bullshit. Like, we came up with that to call each other out. Or when another artist is doing some stuff, like a musical act is saying, oh, I don't want to play that song. That's the song that you're known for. You're on some artist bullshit right now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't want to do that joke. That's the joke that people kind of came to hear also. You're on some artist bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she calmed me down on it, and instantly I made a shift. And I recognized that on me, on myself, and then now if we're just here doing this podcast, we're just here. And little by little, as we start talking, these microphones in my brain disappear, the cameras disappear, and we're just vibing, we're just present in this moment, and I'll enjoy this moment while I'm here, and as soon as this moment is over, I move on to the next moment, and I'll be in that moment, which is with my Uber driver back to the Rio Hotel, and I'll conversate with him, or if he doesn't want to talk, we don't talk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, 100%. And I think I'm like you in many ways, where I don't have a wife to tell me that, but or a husband to tell me that, but I try to catch myself when I'm doing some of that artist bullshit where you're like looking over. It's just like, that's so disrespectful. Like, let me just be here with you.
Yeah, subconsciously I'm messing with you.
Yeah, and like, just be here with me. Like, I'm sure we're gonna end this conversation. You're gonna go on to do whatever the hell that you need to do, and I'm gonna go on to do what I need to do. But I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. I think a lot of people don't want to recognize that, just to stay in the moment, because everybody's on the grind, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's on the hustle. Everybody's trying to look for the next best thing. Everybody's trying to get to that next step. And I understand that. I have never been that person where I walk up to somebody, I'm just like, ooh, what can you do for me? I always, as an artist, and I think I've been doing comedy for about 10 years now. And for me, somewhere around the 8th year, it just kind of clicked. And I was just like, you will get more from the creator, from the universe, if you give more. You know, love is the one thing that you can give. How many more opportunities can you create? Not just for yourself, for other people, right? And all that love just comes back in some form or shape. The universe just takes care of you, you know? And for me, like, that was a big moment for me. So that's why I created the show Minority Reports. That's why I do all these things that I do. I don't go and ask people for stuff. And I think I need to start doing that a little bit more. But I'm always like, what can I do for you? What can I give you? What place can I create for you, you know, where you can come and thrive and I get to share, I get to vibe with you like this, you know? I mean, that's like a really big deal for me.
Another thing we need to say is that, like, I'm not this guy all the time. It's a working process. It's every day, every day.
Yeah.
If you want to be a positive person, you just got to be, every day you got to work at it, man. Because you're getting attacked, you're getting bombarded from all the sides.
That's right.
So every day I work on it. I try to catch myself as much as possible.
Yeah.
And when I drop the ball, I just, I forgive myself and I pick it back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say that to to Eric Rivera. I'm always saying that because he's like very positive early morning walker.
Yeah.
So he's on the tour on the Entrenos tours with me.
Yeah.
So I'm always bugging him.
Sorry,
with
what's
that
the tour called?
Entrenos tours,
Entrenos,
which
okay.
translates to Between Us.
Got it.
And it's that whole. I did an HBO special, but it's a series.
Yeah.
So it's like
I love it.
We're on tour.
Are you talking about the HBO Latino tour that you the set that you did? Yeah. I
so
love
that's like one of those ways, those magical ways. Listen, like people, I remember wanting to do when the HBO Latino people came, which is actually Viva Films, the production. They came to me with it. I know for a fact that there was comics passing up on it because they were like, "Oh, you're a comic and you don't do no Spanish material." And then I go, "They're not asking me to do Spanish material. They're just asking me to do my normal material." And I'm just flying under this banner that's called Entre Nos, which translates to In Between Us. But I got lucky enough that other guys had done it in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that they did the Entre Nos thing. Yeah. But then as soon as it airs on HBO Latino, it was on the HBO app because there's no HBO Latino app. So
it's just streaming through the main thing anyways.
So like someone like Vladimir Camacho who did it, Vla is right next to on the HBO app. He was like right next to the Game of Thrones little pin.
Right.
To click on and watch.
Yeah.
So once I saw that, it was like, okay, this is my sideways door into getting into HBO.
Yes.
And I have 30 minutes on HBO called Adorable. And it's me.
Amazing.
It doesn't even fly. It flies under the flag of Entre Nos. Yeah. But when you look at it, it's just me and it says Orlando Leyba Adorable. That's the name of the 30 minutes.
I love it. Vlad's been on my show quite a number of times. Mm-hmm. He did a show with us last year. He was fantastic in it. So yeah, I love booking Vlad. He's so funny and he's so great.
He's on that new show Tommy on CBS.
That's right. I heard about it.
Yeah, he's like right next to what is it? Edie something. I forgot her name.
Edie Falco?
Edie
Falco? Yeah. I think I saw a post from him about being listed as one of the best dressed men on TV on a TV show.
Yeah. He's the best. He lucked out with this one. It's fantastic. Blessings, man.
Are you gonna pursue acting gigs? Are you taking acting classes?
If it happens, yes. I am taking acting classes.
Yeah.
I've taken another step forward of that whole investing in yourself. So I set some of my touring money off to the side, and I've decided to take a step back from classes and just do one-on-one with the teachers.
Perfect.
So I could just, I'm more that guy. So see if I can evolve and develop a little bit more. Because I respect actors. People think, oh, you could just do that. And there's people that do have the talent just to slide in.
Yes.
But for me, it's hard.
That's an exception. That's not a norm, though. Yeah.
For me, it's like we're in this world where we control everything from A to Z.
That's right.
Where we're going to perform, what time we're going to perform, and what we're going to say. We have all the control.
Yeah.
So acting is a whole different world. I respect it a lot. And if I get the opportunity, I get the opportunity. But man, I'm so blessed to have a sense of humor and know that no matter what, I can go earn $50 at a bar.
That's right. That's right. No, it's really beautiful. So before I started doing stand-up, I was a stage actor in New York, and I did a lot of shows, did a lot of off-Broadway stuff. And I remember my manager submitting me for In the Heights, which was a Lin-Manuel, it was very first musical. Yeah. And I was like, me? And they were like, yeah, they think you're Puerto Rican. Can you come in? Yeah. And I had to take all these singing classes, and I had to prepare for it. I had my hoop earrings on, which I kind of have now too. Yeah. And I had to get my Puerto Rican, I had to get my Boricua on. So and a lot of it's funny because when I moved from Pakistan and I went to high school in Jersey City, most of my friends were all Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. That's an inner city school. And my brothers taught me that if Hispanic kids walk up and start speaking Spanish because they're gonna think you're one of them, just say no habla español.
Yeah.
And I was like, just say no habla español. Just say no habla español. So I was like, okay. So I would go to school, and I remember my first year, and I would have these Puerto Rican kids walk up to me and start speaking Spanish, and I'd be like, no habla español. And they were like, no habla español. They're like, you're not Puerto Rican? You're not Dominican? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm Pakistani. And
Yeah.
they were like, you look like one of us. And I was like, I
Yeah.
know. I didn't even know. I didn't even know about the Latino culture
Yeah.
culture until I got here.
Yes.
And my dear friends are Puerto Ricans and Dominicans
Yes.
actually, because I grew up
Yeah,
with
you
them.
were in the environment.
I'm
You
in
were
the.
deep in the
I was deep in the
environment.
environment. My high school prom, I wasn't allowed to go because it's conservative, Pakistani,
Yeah.
Muslim. You don't get to have dates. You don't get to date
Yeah.
boys. Like that's just not a
Yeah.
thing. And my friend Rosie, Puerto Rican,
Mhm.
she paid for my prom and she paid for my dress, so I can come to prom with
Yeah.
her.
And what did you do? Did you sneak out? Was it like
I
a?
didn't sneak out. My parents let me go, but I wasn't allowed to take a date with me.
Oh,
No dates.
yeah.
I can go with my girlfriend.
My prom, one of my friends had to pick up my prom date because her dad wasn't having it. Very religious, very like,
Latina?
and yes, but I had like long dreadlocks. I looked full blown like I was one of the Marley kids.
Oh
It
my
was like,
God.
and the
You went through that phase, that Marley phase?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like Bob's music used to talk to me, but it's like just shows it's like
Yeah.
that positivity, that energy was already
Yeah.
growing inside me.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my good friends, Sam, he went and picked her up. I'm not gonna say her name. And then he drove her to where we were all meeting up, and I was just there. My mom had rented me a car. I had a
Oh.
what is it? A
Your mom
Miss
sounds fantastic, by
Oh,
the
she's a
way.
wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And she rented me a Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. I was balling.
What?
I wore red sneakers.
Dude, that's some baller shit.
I
That's
just
some baller shit right
yeah,
there.
and then I think we had to do the whole magic trick back to dropping her back off home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I went off.
Does she have to be dropped off by midnight? What was her curfew?
I don't I just remember we rented hotels at the beach,
Okay.
and she didn't go to the hotels at the beach. We all had connecting hotel rooms, and then we were just like most of the graduating class ended up at these hotel rooms just partying. We had the after party there,
Yeah.
and we dropped her back off, and
Yeah.
then I went to the party,
Yeah.
and then I felt weird because I didn't have a date, and then everybody was kind of like trying to figure out what they were gonna do and how they were gonna end up this night. I just remember being like, man, I have an Eclipse convertible, and I just pulled off, and then I was driving up and down 995 with the convertible
Hell
down
yeah, you were.
and enjoying this rental car my mom got
Hell
me.
yeah, you did.
Because the next day, the pumpkin was gonna come back.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right. That's
It was done.
That's so right. Now, what do you got going on? You got the tour is you got the tour going on.
Got the Enter the Nose tour. If basically everything, you just follow me on Hey Lando.
Yeah.
And I'm at the Comedy Cellar this weekend. I think I'm gonna do next week. I'm honored to do this week at the Cellar
Yeah.
over in New York. If it doesn't get canceled, hopefully it doesn't.
Hopefully not,
Yeah.
man. Everything is just like shutting down. Does this scare you? Does the coronavirus scare you?
I don't live in that space, man.
Right?
I know.
Listen, we
hear.
hug. Listen, we hugged.
I know.
You and I
yeah.
don't live in that space.
Yeah,
We
and
just
I know,
don't.
but like for your listeners and everything, I don't want to come across like, oh, this guy just lives in this. I kind of just do. I kind of live in this space where it's like, if you come with negative stuff, I don't listen to you.
Yeah.
I do take care of myself. I do wash my hands. I know how to wash my hands like
That's right.
doctor, where I just scrub my nails. You kind of do this
Yeah.
thing, and you keep your hands out of your face, and you
Yeah.
just have hand sanitizer on deck and just keep it moving. I don't, I drink my vitamin C every day, but it's that I was already doing this because
That's
I
right.
travel so much.
That's right.
You have to take care of yourself.
That's right. I mean, I have all these comic friends hitting me up, and they're like, oh my God, Mona, are you gonna do your shows? Why are you going to Vegas? Did you stock up yet? I'm like, well, wait a minute. Don't you have already stuff at home? Don't you stock up already?
Yeah.
I have my entire car is stocked up. Like I go home, everything is stacked up.
Yeah, the toilet tissue is a big thing in LA now.
It doesn't give you the shits. What's with the toilet paper?
Exactly. I'm like, you could just wash your butt also.
Right.
But
that's what we do, by the way.
Yeah. Well, my wife, man, this is one of the negative things about my wife. She just every time she uses toilet tissue, it's like a glove. She makes a glove.
She's one of those females.
So automatically when we go in shopping, I just grab the biggest thing of toilet tissue possible.
I've noticed that I've had girlfriends who are visiting and come and stay with me, and I put in a new roll, and in half a day, it's gone.
It's gone.
And I'm like, what are you eating the toilet paper? What are you doing,
Yeah.
man? Because I don't use the toilet paper like that because I grew up using the bidet.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big part of the Muslim culture
Yeah.
that you don't use toilet paper because we consider it uncleanliness. We use the water,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but you power hose your ass. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. It just
And
gets
you
everything
feel
out.
fantastic after.
You feel refreshed.
Yes, it's better than 100%. I agree.
You
I
feel
agree.
so
I agree.
refreshed. You're like, wow, this is like it's like a new anus. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't know. There's like this new thing now. All of a sudden, people are like, wash your hands. I'm like, weren't you already fucking washing your
that.
hands?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
How many people's hands? You know what? It got me thinking. I'm like, how many people's hands I shook who didn't wash their hands?
Yeah.
It got me
But
like
then
grossed
you
out.
washed your hands.
Yes.
That's what I do.
I mean,
Especially after shows, you do the little meet and greets after, and people are like,
yes.
oh,
Every time.
But here, this time at the cellar, we haven't been doing meet and greets. We're like, okay, guys. Especially the cellar does such a great thing where they just put 4 headliners together. We all do like about 18 minutes.
Okay.
So it's more like a showcase thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't like me, you might like Nicole. If you didn't like Nicole, you might like Eagle. If you don't like Eagle, you might like Kathy. If you didn't like, you might like Mark. And it's a great show.
Yeah.
And because we're in the green room together, it's kind of like we all took that saying, okay, let's not do meet and greets just in case
Yeah.
we don't catch them, and then we just start spreading that amongst each other.
It's so crazy. Man, I'm actually really excited about I definitely watched part of your Adorable special. Is there a dream you have about possibly getting like a Netflix special? Is that a thing for you right now, or?
My dream is a laundromat. Yeah. I just want to own the building and the machines.
Is that your dream?
Yeah.
To own a laundromat?
100%.
Lavanderia?
Yeah, to
Hell
just have
yeah.
it on the little strip mall and everything. All that stuff is gonna come when it comes.
Where do you want to own it? In LA?
Actually, probably South Florida, less water restrictions.
Okay.
LA, there's no water as is. So doing the laundromat, and then you have to recycle the water and all of that. You're not using constant fresh water. I've thought about this.
Is this your ultimate dream right
Yeah,
now?
dude.
You're blowing my mind,
If
man.
I could get a laundromat, the building with 2 apartments on top, I'm set, man.
That's
I'm
your
good.
life. That's the life right
That's the
there.
life, yo.
You're not
2
like,
rental
I don't want to
properties.
get a Ferrari. I don't want to get a house
I'm
in the
good.
Hollywood Hills.
I'm good. I saw this thing yesterday. I was watching TV.
That's
This
so
guy
funny.
who had a Volvo and he put 3 million miles on it. It's documented. They did a documentary. Volvo sponsored him after he hit like 500,000 miles. Volvo got behind him, and it's like whatever parts you need to replace, and all he basically did normal upgrades, just changing the oil on your car. If you just stay on top of the oil change,
Yeah.
that alone is going to extend your life. So I have a Prius. I want to see how far I can push this Prius, man. I'm already at 160, I think.
At 160, I'm, oh, wow. Wow, you put on a lot. Did it already have miles when you got it?
No, I've had it
What's
since
brand
0
new?
miles. Yeah.
You just had 160.
Yeah.
That's 160,000 miles over what? How many years?
I got it in 2007.
Damn. In a matter of like 13 years.
Yeah, but that's low. There's people who actually have more mileage.
I would think we would have a lot more. But because you're flying out to gigs,
I'm
so you're
flying
not
out
driving.
to gigs, and I've always had this thing like if, let's say, when we lived in Florida, if we were gonna go up to Orlando,
Yeah.
rent a car and let's go up to Orlando. Let's not take the personal car. Let's just
That's right.
spend like
Put the miles on there.
yeah, $50. We go up, enjoy Orlando for a day, and drive back down.
That's right. That's
You know?
right. That's right.
And that's it.
Man, that's that's a really I constantly I go to Vegas back and forth because of this.
Yeah.
I just put the miles on the car. I have a Lexus. I just put it on there. It's a
But
hybrid.
the Lexus are fantastic. Though.
Amazing
You
cars.
could put 300,000 miles on a Lexus.
No problem.
Yeah,
No
no
problem.
problem. No
Great car.
hesitation.
I have a hybrid.
Yeah.
So it
Just
even
the
runs
oil
even more.
change. Just stay on top
Exactly.
of it. And then, like, don't go for, I come from a car family also.
Yeah.
I personally, it's nothing that's been proven,
Yeah.
but I don't go for like my Prius is supposed to be every 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
I just do it every 3,000 miles.
Okay.
Like old cars we're always getting. At
Oh,
some
you
point,
don't wait till the sticker tells you.
I don't wait to. I just do 3,000 miles because
Yeah.
normally your Lexus is probably like 5,000 miles
Yes.
also.
Yes.
I just go
I just
3,000.
wait till it
Yeah.
tells me.
Well, actually, I started it right after I hit like 80,000 miles. When I
Yeah.
hit 80,000, then I just okay. I'm not just gonna go
Yeah.
to a thing. And then in Burbank, there's this place called oh my God, I'm blanking out on the name.
Is it a Prius?
No, it's that place. It's right on Burbank off of the 134.
Okay.
They do an oil change and they'll wash your car. So you get an oil change and they'll wash your car.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know this place.
It's right off of Victory. It's on Burbank. It depends. If it's not close to your house, it doesn't make
You're gonna
sense.
text me the name.
Yeah, yeah.
Text me the name because
Yeah.
I want to go.
I
Before we
would
wrap
love
up,
that too. A place that changes oil and washes your car.
hold on,
All about.
you are on a whole different. You're on a whole different level,
It's
man.
quality of life. I
You're
swear to
you're
God.
so right.
Yeah, if you
Because
just
you're talking about
focus.
sanity and stability. That's what you're talking
Yeah, I'm
about.
talking. Yeah, quality of life, man.
Yes.
Don't sit in the middle seat. If they book you a trip for a middle seat, and
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you $50 to like move up to economy comfort, go up to economy comfort.
Yeah.
Get that extra leg room. It's a
Yeah.
5-hour flight. Do it. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Treat
Absolutely.
yourself.
Before we wrap up, I want to talk to you about this thing. And I talked to a lot
Talk
of
to me.
male comics about this. I mean,
Go.
you're a male comic. You're doing fantastic. You're also, I'm meeting you for the first time, but I just get the really good guy vibe from you. And it's funny because I remember watching you the first time and being like, that's a good guy. There's just something so good and pure about that guy. I
Oh,
remember
thank
watching you and
Thank
just
you. Thank you.
saying that to myself, and I was like,
You
man,
have that vibe too.
oh man, I appreciate
see
that.
it. I see you.
I remember watching it. I'm like, that's a good man right there. He's a good guy. And then you talked about being married and stuff. I was like, of course he's married. He's a good guy. Of course he's married. He's probably married to an amazing woman. You know,
Yeah.
they vibe. They get each other.
With flaws, I have a lot of flaws.
We
though.
all have
We
flaws,
all do.
man. We're
But I
human.
forgive myself.
Yes,
That's the thing.
100%.
You gotta forgive yourself, and you try to do better the next day.
Yes, 100%. And I and thank you for saying that because it's really beautiful. And I think we're everybody's on this perfection bullshit.
No, that doesn't
It's
exist.
bullshit. It's garbage.
That doesn't exist.
It's a fail game.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work. As a female comic, like I go up and what was that like for you? I mean, look, being a comic is a hard life to begin with. It doesn't even matter if you're a man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as female comics go up and male comics, like the hustle is slightly different because with female comics, we always have like this kind of weird thing with bookers. Bookers might try to like screw you out of money or try to do that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, they do that to all.
Yeah, they do that
comics,
to all. With females, there's also this sexual aspect that they try to play in, like, oh, let me play it, let me see if I can
Yeah.
get that in, and that. I mean, when you were, for the 10 years that you were like hustling, and what did you see that? Like, did you see a little bit of like, hey man, like the female comic struggle is a little different than the male comic struggle? Did you experience that or see that or have female comics share that with you?
No, I've never had the female comic share it with me, but I believe it exists because
Yeah.
it's that tension that's always existed. One of the reasons why my mom had to leave Dominican Republic, no one wants to leave their homeland.
That's
You
right.
understand?
That's right.
No one wants to leave their homeland.
That's right.
But the reason why my mom went and paid and got fake papers so she could get on an airplane and travel to a whole nother country to look for a better life is because in
Yeah.
Dominican Republic, my mom is educated. She can type, she can read and write. She was educated for the time. My mom was born in 1948.
Yeah.
But every time she went to go get a job in Dominican Republic, they're like, yeah, you could have the job, but you need to go to lunch with me, which means go
Just
to a
sleep-
motel with
That's
me.
correct. That's correct.
The job is yours. Let's just go to let's just go to lunch.
That's right.
Translation.
That's
Let's
right.
go. Mind you, knowing that she's a married woman, knowing that she has kids at home, they didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't care.
I mean, it's the same
So
in Pakistan.
throughout
Yeah.
life, the United States, things are evolving. Those countries were in the Dominican Republic, things are evolving and changing
Yes.
little by little. It's been a very slow process.
That's right.
So I believe it when a woman tells me this is that. My advice is the advice that I gave myself, and I'm not a woman, but I also felt like, there's certain clubs that you have to kind of like pledge,
Yeah.
like it's a fraternity,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I get it, and I respect it. These are the rules that you set to play in this field,
Mm-hmm.
right? To
Yeah.
play in this field, these are the rules.
Yeah.
But you can choose not to play in that field
That's correct. I choose
and
not
go
to.
to another field.
That
So
exactly.
that's the choice I've made. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where I heard it from, but like go to where you're wanted.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So in LA, certain clubs,
Yeah.
there's a club that wanted me to pay to see my friend perform. I get it. I understand. I hold nothing against this club.
Mm-hmm.
There's a club that wanted me to sit down till 3 in the morning,
Because?
multiple nights, if I ever wanted stage time. I get it. I hold nothing against you.
Yeah.
I play these
I think I
clubs
might even
now.
know those
Yeah,
clubs.
I play these clubs now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
But you know what? The Haha in North Hollywood was like, Orlando, you're welcome here
Yes.
anytime.
They're
And you
really
know what?
great.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Not even 5 minutes. Go 10.
Yeah.
You just got to LA. Do 10. Do
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do 20?
Yeah.
The Ice House. Same
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
I'm comedy and magic, which is a hard club to get
It is
into.
a hard club to get
But
in.
for some reason,
Yeah.
it was the place that welcomed me.
Yes. Yes.
So those bookers, I thank them for
Yeah.
my journey. I thank Nick Guerra, comedian Nick Guerra,
Yes.
because when I got to LA, he gave me the heads up. This and this is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go on these outskirts,
Yeah.
this club exists, this club exists, this club exists.
Wow.
Flappers.
Wow.
I don't do a
Yes.
lot of flapper spots, but when
Yeah.
I first got to LA, these were the places that nurtured me.
Yeah.
And I still hang around that.
Yes.
You
Of
know?
course.
I still go to the Improv. I still go to the Comedy Store. I still go to the Laugh Factory.
Yes. Yes. I mean, those are like
But
the three major players
the
too,
three
right?
major players too.
Yeah.
But it was like I went where they wanted me,
Yes.
and that was it. And I advise that to any woman. And
Yeah.
just and
What if you're not? What if no matter? What if you're killing outside, but on the inside, they're just not?
your moment will come.
Yeah.
You can't rush this.
Yes.
What's good? There's no. It all depends on what you're doing.
That's right.
If you just focus on the stand up,
That's right.
but if you're having aspirations and dreams of, if you're making what I like to call, if you're doing this movie of, I want to have my own sitcom and all of that. If you're working with that, so it's not really also it's a combination of the stand up
Yeah.
and acting.
Well, that's a parallel world.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Because and also,
But if you get, it's kind of like stand up
Yeah.
also. You've been an actress already,
Yeah.
so if you fall into the actor world,
Yeah.
you'll be in the acting world.
Exactly.
And then your talent as a stand up
Yeah.
will shine
Yes.
in the actor world.
That's correct.
But there's people that want to do the thing of, let me become a stand up,
Mm-hmm.
and then people will see me and then they'll give me a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, that's happened multiple times.
Sure.
But a better math
Mm-hmm.
is, let me do stand up at the haha,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'm sharp
Yeah.
at the haha because Terry's showing me a lot of love,
Yeah.
and let me take my acting classes and go out on auditions
Yeah.
and look at backstage magazine and sign up and see if
Yeah.
pick up that world,
Yes. Absolutely.
and just go to where you're wanted and listen to the guys tell you exactly who they are. They
Yeah.
don't try to hide it.
I agree with you on that.
People don't hide.
100%.
They can only hide it probably for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
five
true.
minutes.
That's true.
This is in general.
That's true.
And for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you've already done this long enough, if you
Yes.
sit someone here behind this microphone, eventually
Yes.
their honesty is gonna come out.
100%.
Who they are.
100%. 100%.
Oh,
I think for me,
you came in here pretending to be an angel.
Yeah.
You're really a devil in disguise.
For me, it's just like, and I think that's a talent that we develop as comics is that, you read people very quickly, right? You break things down very quickly because when you're working in big crowds, you're doing crowd work. You're breaking shit down very, very quickly. It's a matter of seconds. So I think that, of course, bleeds into your personal life or, when booking guests. That's why I'm very particular about who I bring on the show. I have to bring on a person that I vibe with, the person I respect. They respect me.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big thing. But you're right. I mean, people show their colors and you have to believe them. It's Maya Angelou said that.
We was just watching. Me and my wife were watching that show on Netflix called Blind Date. And there's this. I
How is
don't.
that show?
It's great. Okay, from a spectator view, great for me
Still want to be a part of it.
because it's like I'm watching it in real time. The stuff that we're talking about,
Yeah.
where a guy, this one, I don't know the name, so I'm not gonna get deep into it. But he said this line where they're talking to each other and they don't see each other, and he tells this woman, the dude tells this woman, "Wow, if there was no other dudes here and no other women here, I would probably propose to you." That's what he said to her.
Whoa.
Now, when she leaves the room where they're having this conversation and she goes back to the other girls, all she says to the other girls, he said he's gonna he's gonna propose to me. That's all that she heard. That's all that she heard. And it's like that's where it lies. Just listen listen to what people are telling you. People are
Yeah.
going to tell you if they're about that money, they're going to tell you about that money. If they're about sex, they're going to tell you about sex. If they're about that they don't like women, they don't like women. There's a lot of guys that like women, but they don't like women.
That's right.
And
That's right.
that's the dude.
Trust me.
That's the
I'm a
dude.
single girl. I experienced that a lot.
Yeah, so that's the dude that you need to avoid.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
Like I genuinely like women.
Yeah.
Like I.
Well, you have a good mom.
Yeah, that's it.
So she really set the precedence for
She
you.
says, you know what I'm saying? And I have aunts and grandmothers, and
Yes.
one of my uncles, through marriage, hit one of my aunts, and I saw my aunts and my mom posse up, and they were gonna murder this dude. Like,
I love your mom and the posse. I love
like
it.
her and her sisters were legit gonna,
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna cut it off, and
Yeah.
we're gonna murder this dude. And I'm a kid, and I'm watching this thing unravel in front of me,
Yeah.
and it didn't go anywhere, but
Yeah.
it's like, that's what and then I was just like, oh, okay. So I'm hypersensitive to women.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I understand them, but at least I know that I like them.
Yes. Yes.
I
We need
like
more
'em.
men like you in the world. That's what it is.
Eh,
Can you start doing can you just do a podcast about not to be an asshole? This is how you are a good man. Can you do a podcast on
yeah,
that,
but it
please?
has to be the other way. I would love. There would have to be a woman that also believes that she has to translate and say to women,
I'll be your translator.
like, yo, listen, yo, that's not what he said. He
That's
said
right, yes.
if there was nobody else
in
here,
there, I would propose.
so the whole world would have to be empty for him to propose to you. Like he didn't say he was gonna propose to you.
That's
Like,
right.
oh Jesus.
That's right. Oh my God, dude, this was such a great conversation. Do you have any upcoming stuff you want to plug, or people can come and watch you?
Again, just
When
hey,
is your tour
Lando.
kicking off?
I think it got pulled because of the coronavirus. They pulled the insurance, so we had to pull the tour, and it picks up again in April though, which is just random. Like, so I'm back in the first week of April. I'm back at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas
Okay.
for a week, and then after that, I pick up. So if you just go to Hey Lando, at Hey Lando, all social media, heylando.com, you'll see where I'm at.
Awesome.
Right?
Well, whenever you're in town, you want to
Yeah.
come back.
Thank you.
You wanna come
Whenever
back
you
and-
want to have me, yeah.
Dude, come back. You want to come and co-host with me? You're more than welcome to do
Oh,
so. You're a
fantastic.
homie.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
a
you.
homie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank
awesome.
You. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you guys wanna, I will tell you guys to please subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're on all the main streaming services, and please share and listen this amazing person we had today as our guest. So until next time, I'm your host, Mona Shaikh. See you next time.